Welcome back to Origami Snowman. I'm gonna do like a whispery ASMR kind of thing. I think everyone will love it. It's just soothing and it's just relaxing and not at all creepy. I don't understand that, by the way. I don't know how people do the whole AS. It's just like, if you want to talk low, that's fine. But it's when they get like this and they say, "Would you like to hear my fingernails tapping on the plastic?" No, I don't want to hear. I don't want to acknowledge that you have fingernails. There are just certain things, certain things that are gross. Fingernails, feet are gross. Yeah, just things. Ears are, yeah, I don't know. So anyway, people are gross. People are gross. I don't want you breathing on me or touching me or just, they're icky. So I'm going back for the another, trying to get another 4-1, and that'll be our first. This one is going to be our second, and it's going to go really well. And I'm gonna get your hopes up. I love getting your hopes up. It's one of my favorite things. And oh, flip and a half. That sucked. That could have been it. Did I get your hopes up? And this would have been the third. Oh, what a missed opportunity. I'm heartbroken because judging by how low the right side is, I'm pretty sure we had a chance. We actually had a genuine chance. No, well, and then I screwed that up. So anyway, I don't know how many times I'm gonna have to try before I stick the landing on this. But I am. Well, here's the thing. Look at that hole. Do you see it over there? Do you see it? It's going to be super easy to get a hole in one, but almost impossible to even get out of that hole to even perform that. Remember when I said super easy to get a hole in one? I lied. Anyway, so in my last video, I mentioned that the poster, the first movie poster for the Borderlands movie had come out. Well, they also dropped the trailer. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm not holding out a lot of hope. Because when like a filmmaker has made some amazing movies and he wants you to know, hey, listen, you can expect more of the same greatness from me in this one, and they list like the great movies they've done. So I don't know if it was the director or the producer or the studio. I don't know who it was, but it said from the creators of Uncharted. Remember that video game movie that everybody loved? Actually, everyone forgot about. Anyway, and Spider-Man. I don't know which Spider-Man, they didn't specify. And Venom, which I think some people liked, but it wasn't. I don't know. I didn't see it. It didn't look good. They just listed 3 very mediocre, very meh. Now, I don't know which Spider-Man. They just said Spider-Man. Like the most vague, like blind half-court shot ever. And, I'm never going to make this. So not sure. I'm not sure how I feel about it. But with, it's, the cast looks promising. Kevin Hart, Jack Black, Ariana Greenblatt, Jamie Lee Curtis, Kate Blanchett. Everybody loves Kate Blanchett. Galadriel, right? She was amazing. She is an amazing actress. They're all great, but I don't know. I'm a little nervous. I'm a nervert. Oh man, I screwed that up. That would have been a really easy hole in one. Because I'm not paying attention. My mind is troubled. Oh boy. All right, this is the hole in one. This is going to start it all. I'm going to bounce it off that back wall. And you guys are going to be like, that's a really impressive shot. Nice work, guy. Thank you. It's taken me lots of practice, years of toil. I had to miss some important family events in order to, oh crap. Never mind. I was going to give a whole speech about how you have to give up a lot if you want to gain a lot. And it was all worth it. And then I missed the shot, so really, what's the point? Oh, this might be an easy hole in one. Can I get over the lip just a little? Oh my gosh, yes, that was so. Shut up. Everybody just shut up. All right, here we go. Here we go. Now, what's funny is my daughters are in the other room watching the last video. Hey, hole in one. So they're watching the last 4 in a row video. I can hear it. It's just kind of funny. Yeah. So I have these moments of self-doubt, like, why am I even making these videos? Well, I go through manic phases. I think we talked about that. And I find that any kind of creative endeavor really helps. So just churning these videos out, it's pretty easy. It's a lot of fun. The game itself is relaxing. I like to talk when I feel like I have someone listening. Oh, hole in one. And so just this, the whole process is, oh crap. Back down. No, it's over the thing. Okay. The whole process is just, it's calming. So, oh, there we go. I see. That's what I was kind of trying to do. Was I was hoping for last time. Whatever. So the whole process, it's healing. It helps. I'm gonna bounce off the wall again. Never mind. Nope. Screwed that up. And so it doesn't hurt anybody. It doesn't cost me anything. It's just time. So why not? But I catch myself like oh my word. When I edit these, and by editing, I mean every once in a great while I'll have to splice things together, or like I'll drop in, was it that stupid little talking hand clip, from a couple videos ago? It just, whatever. But mostly it's just trimming off the beginning and the end, just kind of paring it down. Like I will literally maybe at most chop 3 seconds off of the video. Usually it's just push record and go. But while I'm cutting off those tiny little bits at the end, the little bookends, I catch myself watching the videos. I don't know why, but I think I agree. They are kind of relaxing. They are fun to, I know how it ends. Not usually very well. And it's a good thing I never get tired of hearing myself talk. Because that'd be hard. That'd make these videos really unpleasant. But yeah, so that realization, yeah, I do enjoy. Nice, I do enjoy making them. I even enjoy watching them. So that alone is reason enough. All right, here's number 2. You guys are gonna be so proud of me. Right there, look at that, right there, plop. I gotta stop saying plop. That's so disturbing. Okay, here's number 3. Is it? It is. It is number 3. Oh my gosh. You guys. This is. Okay. I'm gonna be. Okay. So I wanna. This is not as easy as it looks. Just a little. No. Oh no. No, that's so upsetting. I'm so close. That is, that hurts. All right, this is gonna be annoying. Bounce up the thing. Ugh, just a little bit, like 1 extra bean. I thought I was giving it the beans. I gave it some beans, just not enough beans. See that? There you go. That's what I was thinking was gonna happen, and maybe a little extra. Okay. But yeah, I do enjoy. I kind of enjoy the whole process. Every part of this I like. I think the thing that would make it better is just knowing that more people were enjoying it. But even that is not a requirement. So we're just gonna. It is what it is. So a horrible, bad, awful, terrible thing has happened to me the last few weeks. I like to read. I do love reading. Is one of my favorite things ever, and that was really close. I'm not even upset because I'm talking about books. So, oh, here's a hole in one. So I love to read, and I do it all the time. I've always been a reader ever since I was. Are you kidding me? Ever since I was a small child, I learned to read at a very young age. I went into school knowing how to read, and when other kids couldn't, I didn't quite understand, but I knew it sort of was a strength, and it set me apart, and it gave me a little bit of an edge, And unfortunately, like kindergarten, first grade, second grade, they really focus on reading, and so I was convinced. I was like, I am killing it. I got school locked down, which is a different phrase altogether these days. When I was a kid, having it locked down. Actually, we didn't ever say lockdown. Anyway, I then when we went into third grade, they were kind of like, okay, everybody can read, great. Now we're gonna start working on math, and I was like, I don't think that's necessary. Oh, hello. I had succeeded admirably up until that point without any effort. And then all of a sudden, being able to read was not a big deal. So third grade was a wake up call for me and for my parents, who were like, "Oh, this kid has no drive, no ambition, no motivation. He is just, but he still likes to read." So anyway, reading was always fun. School, not so much, because they were like, "Hey, you got to try hard," and I was like, "No, I'm good." Hey, watch this. This is called a hole in one. And so I've always been a reader. I remember in high school getting in trouble because we were reading Lord of the Flies, and our teacher was like, "Do not read ahead." And I was like, "Okay." But I'm sorry, have you ever read Lord of the Flies? It's so good. How are you supposed to like not read ahead? Like how are so I would get in trouble for reading ahead. I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Am I doing too much work now? You guys were mad at me for not making an effort. Now that I'm like kicking butt, you guys are all ticked off." Anyway, what was I talking about? Books. Okay, so I don't often start a book and not finish it. It's just not usually a thing. I can usually bring myself to finish a book, without a whole lot of struggle. Notable books that I didn't finish: Battlefield Earth. That's a long book, and I was halfway into it, and I realized I don't remember the main character's name, and I do not care if he lives. In fact, I would like him to die because this book is stupid. This is ridiculous, and it's awful, and I hate it. And so I was like, I'm not gonna read any more of this book. So I didn't read that one, or I didn't finish reading that one. That was years and years ago. I didn't finish reading Neuromancer, William Gibson. It's a classic. It started the cyberpunk genre. I don't know, just couldn't bring myself to. Yeah, I don't know. It was hard. Like the novelty of cyberpunk isn't there. Once you know what it is, once you've seen The Matrix, you're familiar with cyberpunk. It just, oh wow, that novelty wears off, and so that story better be good. And the story just, I didn't care. I wasn't interested. It didn't get me. I didn't like the character. I don't even really understand what was going on. It was hard. And so I set that. It's still up on my shelf. I mean, I haven't ruled out finishing it one day, but I'm not like in any. I don't feel any urgency. Ursula K. Le Guin's the left hand of darkness with the hole in one. Interesting book. It was fine. I just was in a different place than I needed to be. I will be going back to finish that. I just haven't finished it. And then more recently, Ender in Exile, Orson Scott Card. It's a direct sequel to Ender's Game. I didn't finish that because when you write a series and then you decide, I'm going to write another book smack in the middle of the series, your characters have this thing called plot armor. Like, I already know what happens. I read it in the other books. I know what happens. So there's no suspense. There's nothing really interesting. And then when the writer is an aged transphobe, that hurts. So that's, I don't really know. I don't know if I can put a name to all of his policies and all that stuff. But he did seem to go out of his way to make sure that we all knew that there were only boys and only girls. So maybe not transphobic, but maybe non-binary phobic. I don't know. So it felt like an old man revisiting something that once was very good. So I just couldn't. I didn't bother. not going to listen to that rhetoric. And so I didn't finish that. And then literally right on the heels of that, I decided to finish Christelle Dabos, the Mirror Visitor series. First two books were quite good. The third book was a struggle. The fourth book was awful. I actually wrote a review. Normally, I just give reviews on Goodreads. I actually wrote a review because I had some things I needed to say about it, and that was very disappointing. So, my goodness, I need to focus. I just have been sad about books lately. But I did start the second book in Brando Sando's Stormlight Archive, called, I don't remember what it's called, Words of something, Reckoning, Redemption, Restoration, Rivenation, I don't know. So I'm starting that. It's a humongous book. It's a paperback, 1,300 pages. The first book in the series was only 1,250, so this one is, yeah. And again, the books I write are like, a little more than 200 pages, 250, around there, like they're not big. And so here this guy is like, I wrote the dictionary, they're so huge and there's so much going on. There's so many storylines and so much lore and mythology. And I'm blown away by his ability to do all that stuff. I'm a write what you know, and if you don't know it, make it up, and if you can't make it up, leave it out. That's my take. My first book, I did some research on that was close, on wilderness triage medicine. Somebody gets hurt out in the middle of nowhere, and they have to help him, but they don't have anything to help him with, so they gotta figure out things. I did a little bit of research. I Googled some things, and that's how I research. I know the writer Anna Lee Huber. She lives in my town, and I know she does loads of research. She writes historical mysteries, Victorian type mystery type stuff, Pride and Prejudice, but there's a murder, and everything she does is pretty spot on accurate, and that requires a lot of research. I admire that, but I am not down. My last book, Secretly Kings, was all, here we go, hole in one, was all it took place in pretty much my hometown in 1993. So that was pretty easy. Not a lot of research was needed for that. Oh, come on, bounce up, bounce up. Oh, it went over. Dang it. And so, still a great book. Secretly Kings by Matt Beers, available on Amazon. So, anyway, hole in one. Watch this. Right up in there. That sounded bad. So I'm hoping this Stormlight Archive book 2, I hope I can finish it, because there are more books in the series and they're all monstrous as well, and you could have kept going and in the hole. I also have more of the second era of Mistborn to read, and then there's all of his other books. So Brandon Sanderson, this has definitely been the year of Brandy Sandy. So there will always be more Branderson. So I got that to be thankful for. And then all the other books. I've got hundreds of books that I can always go to. There's always your favorites, to fall back on. One thing I love a series where you get really, really, really attached to the characters. That I think was part of what I liked about Harry Potter, was the characters. They all had their little quirks, they had their personalities, and those personalities felt real, and you felt like you knew the characters. One other series that does that really well is the Dark Tower series by Stephen King. I got so attached to the characters, not just Roland. He's hard to like, the main character, the titular gunslinger, as you know, the first book is called The Gunslinger, and it's about Roland Deschain. He's just, he's a grizzled old man, and he's stubborn, and he's got a one-track mind, and he's just a machine going, always to the Dark Tower. Every single action is, to get him to the tower. And that's admirable, but also like, okay, give it a rest. You know what I mean? But there are people along the way that you meet, and some stick around and some you lose, and they're all really interesting and deep and a hole in one, and you feel like they're real, and you spend so much time with some of these people, and then it's over and you miss them. And I catch myself sometimes thinking, what's Eddie doing right now? What's Eddie up to? Is he happy? You just, it's just, I love a series where you fall in love with the characters. So that's kind of how Mistborn was, another Brandon Sanderson thing. Characters are great. Plot's fine, but man, characters are great. Lord of the Rings had some great characters. The Hobbits specifically. Like Aragorn, I know what Aragorn's doing. He's ruling Middle-earth. I know that Gimli and Legolas traveled all over Middle-earth, and they went and saw all the sights and did all the things. And, but what I really want to know, is Sam okay? I know it ended rough. He was sad, but he had his life to live. Did he live it well? And, you do get some of that in the appendix. The appendices of The Lord of the Rings tell you a little bit more about, what happened, and Merry and Pippin, what they did. And it's just, it's nice. So I love a series that gives you a lot of characters to like. Chronicles of Narnia. If you've never read Chronicles of Narnia, it's really easy. 7 books. And it's the rise and fall of a nation, of a world. It's, if you read it chronologically and you start with the magician's nephew, then you see the creation of Narnia. And it goes all the way through to the 7th book, the last battle, and you see basically the end of the world happen. And you have all these characters, the Pevensey children, and even Eustace Scrubb. The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, one of the great opening lines of all time. There once was a boy named Clarence Eustace Clarence Scrubb, and he almost deserved it. Like it's so good. It sets such a like a background for this awful character, and you got Reepicheep, and you've got Mr. Tumnus, and just all these lovable, wonderful characters, and it's so rich and so sweet and such a hole in one. Oh, can I do it again? Nope, too much. So anyway, I like a good series, because sometimes one adventure just isn't enough. You want to see these people on other adventures. Oh, well. But yeah, Stormlight Archives, I wouldn't say it's full of rich and warm character. Good grief, just get a little closer to the thing. Rich and warm character. Oh, gosh. It's full of characters. There's tons of people. But, there's some that you want justice for, or you want to see them, like complete their mission or whatever. But there are no Samwise Gamgees, at least not yet. Not that I've spotted. You want a Sam, so I'm on the lookout for a Sam in the Stormlight Archive. Yeah. Sean Astin, he's been in a lot of stuff. It was Patty Duke's son. If you don't know who Patty Duke is, she was in the original Parent Trap, not the Lindsay Lohan one, but the one way back in the day. and she was on, a show called The Patty Duke Show, named after Patty Duke, Sean Astin's mom. Yeah, Patty Duke was on that show too. But so Sean Astin, let's see. He was Mikey in the Goonies, and then he didn't do anything until Lord of the Rings. I'm kidding. He's been in a lot of stuff. He was in a movie in the '90s called Toy Soldiers. I think it was Toy Soldiers. Yeah, about these kids, these boys in a boarding school, who the boarding school kind of got like overrun by, I don't remember, terrorist, gangster, mobster guys. I don't remember, but they were holding them hostage, and because they were the sons of these wealthy men, these rich guys, and Sean Astin's character was like kind of always getting in trouble, and he understood that it was, I don't know, I don't remember all the details. I watched it a bunch of times way back in the day, but he kind of was like caused all sorts of trouble, and kind of, I don't know, he saved the day. It was just one of those, like, the troublemaker kind of gets in there and saves the day, hole in one. But he did that, and he was Drew Barrymore's brother in 50 First Dates, the one where she had short-term memory loss, like she couldn't form new memories. Every time she went to sleep, she woke up thinking it was that same, whatever. And her dad and her brother just kept letting her relive the same day over and over. And but yeah, Sean Astin was the brother. He was like the bodybuilder, but he talks with a lisp, and he was always super angry and like so like ready to fight. I liked him in that. That was good. And of course he was Bob in Bob Newby, superhero, in Stranger Things, season 2, I believe. And yeah, Sean Astin's great. You get the feeling that like he really is a Samwise, And if you ever listen to Dominic Monaghan and Billy Boyd's podcast, it's called, I don't know, it's called The Friendship Onion. Just get in the thing. It's called The Friendship Onion, which I don't know. I can't explain it. They tell all these great stories about Sean Astin, about how he was on the set, Lord of the Rings, how he was always kind of like, thank you. He was sort of the mom, he always looked after everybody, and I'm not, there's no chance I'm going to make this. Like he would say, oh, hang on, I don't think the helicopter, it's too windy for the helicopters to land. It's not safe. And, he was making sure everybody was doing the right thing and, showing up on time. And like, he really was like, kind of the mom, and they teased him about it, but he's like, what? It's just, just kind of his nature, and which is very sweet. You got to love Sean Astin. But yeah, let's see here. No, I can't. It's late in the day. I've already made one of these videos today, and now I'm tired, and I'm just, I think I might be done with this one. This might be a short one. I wonder if I'll ever, get this hole. I wonder if I'll ever actually get a 4 in a row. I think I need to keep trying, right? That's the way it works. Try again. My mom always used to say, if at first you don't succeed, try again. Yep. But also, she should know, she raised a quitter. Not through any fault of her own. She tried. Mama tried. But yeah, I don't know. I'm also, I'm a big believer that, effort is important. Keep trying. Never give up. But also, if you don't care, what's the freaking point? Don't live your life chasing somebody else's goals. Although this 4 in a row thing was definitely my goal. I did start it, so it's on me. It's not like my dad always wanted me to be a lawyer, but I wanted to dance. Like that. That's not what this is. This is just good grief. All right. So Are we gonna go? No, we're not gonna go in the thing. What's your favorite Tim Burton movie? Now here's the crazy thing. People will say, "Oh, my favorite Tim Burton directed movie is Nightmare Before Christmas." No, it's not. It's not. I'm not saying it's not one of your favorite movies. It's a terrific movie. I love it to death. But Tim Burton didn't direct Nightmare Before Christmas. He wrote it, but he didn't direct it. The first film he directed. Oh wait, hang on. Am I right in this? Am I right in saying this? Was it Pee-wee's Big Adventure? I don't remember if that was his first or not. But thank you. Hole in 24. Nice. I love Pee-wee's Big Adventure. That movie is so good. If you have never seen it, don't expect much. It is stupid, but it's the right kind of stupid. It is about this, if you don't know who Pee Wee Herman is, I don't even know how to describe him, but he is this, he describes himself to his friend Dottie. He says, I'm a loner, Dottie, a rebel. There are things about me you wouldn't understand. Things you couldn't understand. Things you shouldn't understand. He is the silliest creature alive. But he doesn't see it that way. He sees the rest of the world as being silly, and there's only one thing in the world. There's only one thing in the world that he loves more than himself, and that is his bike. And somebody steals his bike, and so the movie is him like traveling all over for his bike. I think he makes it to Texas. He goes to the Alamo to find his bike, to find it, to look in the basement, the basement of the Alamo, because a psychic tells him that's where it is. And what's funny about that scene where he's talking to the psychic, she looks out her window at the signs, the signs of the businesses around her little store, her shop, and kind of like for inspiration at the spur of the moment. And she sees Al and Moe's bargain basement or something like that. And, it says it's in the Alamo, in the basement. The Alamo. Anyway, how many other times has she looked out that window to tell somebody, your missing dog is in the Alamo? Like, there were no other signs out there. So those are the only two. So I don't know. It's so silly to me when you think about, like, that can't be the first time. I wasn't hitting it from this side, so I thought maybe I'd try it from the left. It can't be the first time that she is like used those signs to con somebody, and it's just so funny to me. So anyway, if you've never seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure, my wife and I constantly quote movies. And for whatever reason, I don't think she's a particular fan of this movie, but there's one line that we quote all the time, and it's, I'll say, I'm going to go start a paper route right now. That's just for whatever reason, that has worked its way into our life. Definitely watch Pee-wee's Big Adventure. It is the most unique movie. It's one of those movies, and I love movies like this. They know exactly what they are, and they know you're probably not going to like it, and they don't care. It's sometimes movies like that don't work out, but Pee-wee's Big Adventure is like that. Barbie is like that. Barbie knew exactly what it was. It knew it wasn't going to be like any other movie, and it didn't care. It was not bothered one little bit about being unique. Princess Bride, I think, is similar, has that similar charm, where it's very tongue in cheek, where it's like, I am not going to be a typical fantasy movie. I am not going to be your typical romance. I'm going to be something bigger than both of those things, and you can take it or leave it. I'm not bothered. And for that reason, I think The Princess Bride is an absolutely perfect movie. Another movie, and then this one, it works well, but not, the tone almost gets lost a little bit because it makes an effort to be cool. It's Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. You can't sell that movie as mainstream. Your characters they're dumb, and they probably deserve to flunk out of high school. Ted deserves to go to military school in Alaska, dude. Yeah, but you still root for him, right? Even if they weren't destined to save the world, you'd still be rooting for them, right? Because not because you like them so much, but because nobody else is anywhere nearly as interesting as they are. Even Bill's younger brother Duncan. No, that's Ted's brother Duncan. His little brother Duncan, who's kind of gets a bad rap. That was a nice hole in two, because they give him some money and tell him to look after Napoleon. And you know what? He takes him to Ziggy Pig for some ice cream. Duncan. Yeah. So that's another movie that's, weird and is fine with being weird. Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, they kind of tried to double down on the weird, and it slipped. It slipped a lot, but not a terrible movie. Oh, I didn't make that shot. Oh, man. You know who makes good movies? Wes Anderson. Favorite director. You want to talk about movies? Let's talk about Wes Anderson movies. Nobody asked to talk about movies. I just decided that's what we're talking about. His first movie came out in, was it 94? 95? I don't remember. I just remember I was in high school. Bottle Rocket. Owen Wilson, Luke Wilson, brothers, but in the movie they just play friends. And Owen Wilson's character, Dignan, his dream is to be like this amazing criminal mastermind. He wants to be a thief. And his friend, who I cannot remember Luke Wilson's name, it's gonna drive me crazy. Anyway, he's Dignan's conscience, but he's not very good at it, and so they are thieves, and it's kind of how they fall apart, and the one doesn't want to, he doesn't want to do it anymore. It's not my dream. I met a girl and I want to be with her, and I can't be a thief and be with her, and so it's very funny, very dark comedy, and then that got a lot of attention and opened up some doors, and through that door lies an absolute cinematic masterpiece, Rushmore. Just such an incredible movie. That's one that, for real, just watch it. It's so good. Max Fisher, he goes to a boarding school, Rushmore Academy. Not a boarding school, a private school. I think they board, but not him, because he lives there in town. He's there on scholarship. He's not one of the rich kids. But he's there on an academic scholarship, but he's also a terrible student. And so he got in because when he was 7, he wrote a one-act play about Watergate. But he's on he's on probation and he's gonna end up getting kicked out, and he writes plays and he starts clubs, and he's obsessed with going to school at Rushmore. He tells Mr. Bloom, played by Bill Murray in one of his greatest roles, he says, "What's the secret, Max?" And Max says, "I just think you gotta find something you love and then do it for the rest of your life. For me, it's going to Rushmore." And he literally wants to go to Rushmore Academy for the rest of his life. But then they both meet this teacher who teaches some of the younger kids at Rushmore, and they both fall in love with her, and they start this little war back and forth. And it's delightful. It's so good. It is such a good movie. And then, he went from there. Royal Tenenbaum's one of my absolute favorites. I like all of his movies. Even his bad movies are pretty freaking good. The Royal Tenenbaums, it's about this family that used to be destined for greatness and then didn't quite get there. The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. Oh, so good. Think Jacques Cousteau, but with a far more inflated ego. But he can't cash the check. He's just not quite as, he's not the hot item he thinks he is. And what came after that? I think Darjeeling Limited was after that. That's one of my less favorite, but still incredible movies. It's these three brothers who haven't seen each other since their father's funeral a year prior, and they meet up on a train in India, like intentionally, not coincidentally, and the one brother has an agenda to kind of like let's patch things up, let's fix our relationship, and the other two are like, nah, we're okay with it the way it is. And so just brothers not getting along, and it's good. It's really good. Plus, the set design is so great. It's so great. So much of it is on a train, and it's really it's really impressive. He did The Fantastic Mr. Fox, one of the greatest family movies ever. Stop motion animation. It's so great. Watch that one. Another one that he did a lot of people like that I did not care for, and I'm going to be honest, this might be the only Wes Anderson movie I did not like, was Isle of Dogs. I just didn't like it. It's good. It's worth watching. Again, even his bad movies are still pretty darn good. Check it out. It's not bad. Stop motion animation also. And then the Grand Budapest Hotel. It won an Oscar for set design or production design. It is so good. Like, it's just like everything else he does. It's just so much thought and so much attention to detail, and the writing is just amazing, and the characters are so funny, and it's just madness, but beautiful, beautiful madness. And then gosh, I'm kind of all over the place here. He did French Dispatch. That's the only one of his I have not seen, so I can't speak to that. I did recently see Asteroid City, which I was kind of on the fence about. And then there was just this one strange little moment that kind of came out of nowhere. It made me cry. It caught me so off guard. Is that 2 in a row? I don't know. It doesn't matter. This won't be 3. It caught me so off guard. The whole thing, you forget, the whole thing is a play. You're watching a play, but it's done in such a way that it doesn't, it's more a movie, and it's hard to explain. But Jason Schwartzman's character, he stops in the middle of a scene, and he's like, I'm confused. I don't understand. And so he leaves the set through a little hidden door, and the camera, kind of follows him, and he's walking backstage, and he's walking around, and he goes and he finds the writer, and he says, "Am I doing it right?" And it was such an honest moment where, like, as a father, as, just a human, you stop and you question, I don't know what I'm doing. am I doing this right? And for whatever reason, it just caught me, and it startled an emotional response out of me, and I had to stop the movie. It was very real, very surprising. Another weird movie, but kind of in that same vein of, it knows it's weird, and it doesn't need you to approve of it. It exists whether you like it or not. Now, one other thing that Wes Anderson did that I highly recommend, it's on Netflix. It's called The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. Watch that. It's 40 minutes long, and it is beautiful. It's so good. Benedict Cumberbatch. Some people don't like him, but those people are wrong. He plays Henry Sugar, and the whole thing is done as if it were a stage play. Wes Anderson loves stage plays. He loves the in the momentness of it. Like, push play and hope for the best. It's just go and make it happen, and really, really, it's really just a beautiful story, and the way he tells it is so great. So I love Wes Anderson. I love his work. I've been a fan since Bottle Rocket. Bottle Rocket has one of my favorite movie lines. It doesn't make any sense. And I can't remember what it is right now. It's I can't remember exactly what it is. I don't want to misquote it, so I'm gonna let it go. Shouldn't have even brought it up. Now I look like an idiot, which thank goodness I didn't before now. But I think I'm gonna have to hang it up on this episode of 4 in a Row. Boy, oh boy. Next one, we'll get a hole in one and we'll wrap it up. You know what? I'm gonna try. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna try to lay up. Let's a little. Never mind. Oh no, never mind. See, look at that. This game is mean to me. It doesn't want me to succeed. It doesn't want me to be happy. This game is like every 8th grade girl I've ever known. Now, I knew a lot of them when I was in 8th grade, and they all were mean to me. And as a bus driver, I've known a few, and most of them are pretty mean. So that was dumb. 8th grade girls are the meanest people alive. There, I said it. I stand by it. I live with one of them. She's actually quite pleasant. We're gonna have to figure out some other way to. Oh, there we go. You know who else makes really good movies? Edgar Wright. I know I've talked about his stuff, but I know I talked about Wes Anderson, and it won't be the last time I talk about Wes Anderson. I love to talk about Wes Anderson. I love to talk about Edgar Wright. Who else? I gotta be honest. I don't get super excited over Spielberg. I don't get excited over Scorsese. There's some of these, classic, great directors. They don't, I feel like I've seen all their movies. Even the ones they haven't made yet. It just doesn't, they don't thrill me with their regular stuff. It's just it's not fun. Even Tarantino, who I really like Tarantino. Even his stuff is almost too predictable. Kill Bill, love Kill Bill. I would have loved for him to have done a third one, and wrapped up the story with Vernita Green's daughter. That would have been awesome. I would have loved that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. But I think he's done. I think he's made all the movies he's going to make. And most of them I enjoyed. So, are we going to get that hole-in-one? That sweet, sweet hole-in-one? Thank you so much. What an amazing shot. Thank you. All right, that is all for now. I'm going to go ahead and hang this up. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. I'm exhausted. I know this isn't a lot of work, but talking through it all, sometimes I'm on and sometimes I'm not. I ate a whole bunch of Skittles right before I started recording, and I think the sugar crash is really hitting me hard. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget, if you're not subscribed, I'd appreciate it if you did. And if you could like it, and if you could share it, and tell your friends and your neighbors, and Maybe you're friends with your neighbors. If you are, I'm so happy for you. What a great setup you have there. Go over and have a barbecue and say, hey, y'all ever watch this guy, Matt Origami? He's the Origami Snowman. He plays golf on his phone. It's dumb and I can't stop watching it. Let him know. Maybe get them hooked on it too. You guys could have a desert golf party, a viewing party. That'd be a hoot, wouldn't it? Let me know if that happens. All right. So long. You guys are incredible and I love you. Bye.